Hi there everyone, welcome back to On the Flip Side. My name is Adam Shawalker, your host, and today we're going to be checking out this new Vulfpeck offshoot, Vulfmon, with their new album, Here We Go, Jack. This is essentially a collection of tracks as an entry into the Vulf Vault series, this one seemingly as a solo album for Jack Stratton. The background and makeup of each song on this project varies so much in sound and style from track to track, it's kind of hard to really pin down if this is a collection of tracks maybe produced by Jack alone, or if it's something a little bit more nebulous. This album does have some really great songs and some really interesting tracks too. Like I said before, this album really goes in a lot of different directions. There's more straightforward, funky pieces like the infectious grooves on Boogie Man, but there's also calm clarinet numbers like Contrapunctus 1. And I really just say interesting because while none of these more out there musical expeditions are bad, they really do feel like their inclusion here is meant more so to be as pacers, but these songs could kind of just as easily be skipped over to get to the more lively tracks without much consequence at all. And a lot of this album really feels like a portfolio piece in a way, because while not all of the material comes across in a sensible or neat package, it does all sound, at least on the surface, very good when you take each song and kind of just look at them individually. The first track on the album, How Much Do You Love Me, is this very 70s soul piece with this really great singer who's putting some solid stank on their delivery. I think it is one of the more moderate songs here. It's simple, there's a good hook, can't complain about that too much. Boogie Man, in my opinion, is the highlight of this album. By far and away, this song slaps hard fat nuts. In all seriousness though, this track is just one big funky hook that lands just so nicely. It's thick, it flows, it's like syrup on waffles, gravy on chicken. It's chicken and waffles in audio form. This shit is just Right after Boogie Man, we get a pretty abrupt change-up, but the quality stays pretty consistent. It stays pretty high, with Alone Again Naturally, which is this really beautiful and soul-crushing track. The singer here is telling this story of like how her father died, leaving her mother behind, who mourned his loss for years and years until the day she died, and comparing that with some trauma to a more recent loss of maybe a friend or lover who couldn't be there during some really tough times. It's a really calm, laid-back track that is just so entirely sad. And that song then leads into that clarinet piece I had mentioned before, Contrapunctus 1, which is really nice, calm, kind of meditative. After the last song, it does really add a nice, like sort of air of melancholy to the track listing, though on repeat listens, I did find myself skipping this song a bit. Take Me to a Higher Place lands again in a funkier, more soulful, upbeat part of the cosmos. This instrumental is a pretty solid groove, one of the better cuts here for sure, but it does feel like it's missing something. It does kind of remind me a lot of like early Thundercat material, really jazzy, kind of mindlessly grooving. Like it's good, but it's not super engaging. Never Can Say Goodbye is a really great bluesy guitar instrumental, very Clapton-esque. And that is kind of an unfortunate comparison, but off the top of my head, that's what I'm going with. I'm also a big fan of the double bass work here. It's a really solid track that I feel would be right at home in like a very small, intimate, speakeasy type dive bar. Let's Go is kind of a weird one. It's very poppy with this kind of in-your-face throwback beat. I can appreciate the catchiness and some of the silliness here, but this song does kind of get grating after more than a few listens for me personally. Bach Pedal, or Back Pedal, is a short classical interlude, which is fine. That leads into the title track, Here We Go, Jack, which is on the other end of the spectrum when it comes to the funky, higher tempo beats that most of the really great tracks on this album are working with, though this song is no less quality than those. I really enjoy the lilting, lazy delivery and the monotone production. It's lush while also still feeling very washed out in places. Big fan of that. And the final track, Rutgers, is just a really great instrumental that closes off the album. It's quick, it's to the point, it's just some really nice funk that doesn't mess with any bullshit. I dig the little synth work over the top of the bass, which is as full as ever. I mean, yeah, this album has a lot of really solid cuts on it. I do wish the consistency was maybe a little bit more of a consideration here, because the whole thing does suffer a bit as a result, because it's just kind of messy. I think there's some really worthwhile stuff here that I'm gonna have in rotation for quite a while, but there's just as much, if not more, that I don't really think warrants much of a revisit at all. I think Here We Go, Jack is a solid 6. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this album in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe. Also, quick channel thing, I am finishing up a job change right now, and I'm getting used to a new schedule and routine, so my upload upload schedule might be a little bit wonky for a little bit. Just want to let you guys know. Also, remember to check out my Instagram, my Reverb, and my Depop. Links to those are in the description below. Thank you all so much again, and we'll see you on the flip side.